Having a million ounce resource in a bull market, having strong supporters such as Steve Letwin, who will be participating in this financing, and having a resource up north at Kaesy property that has so much infrastructure, the opportunity is so great.
We love an orogenic gold story because the sheer scale of the opportunity, and we think you might like this one too. We catch up with Tyler Rice. He's the CEO of Margaux Resources, and we talk to him about their recent financing, the growth plans for next year, and also their maiden resource they put out last week. Plus, we talked to some of the members of the team who've been up in camp last year, including VP of Exploration, Linda Caron. Find out what they had to say by looking in the description below and clicking on the relevant timestamp, and that'll take you to that part of the video. And if you could click the button in the corner of the screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more videos like this, click the notification bell. So let's find out what they have to say. Hey Tyler, how are you?
Excellent. And yourself?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's been a while since we spoke. Just wanted to catch up and sort of see how things are going. You know, we like this. It's one of our favorite, smaller exploration stories in Canada. Noticed that you got a couple of things had come up. Obviously, you've updated the historic resource like you said you would, and also there's this raise. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on? Seems to be quite busy.
Oh, absolutely. Very busy indeed. We're very excited about the recent announcement with regards to our 1 million ounce resource at a 0.7 cutoff, which results in an average grade of 1.43 grams per ton. In addition to that, we recently announced the financing of $750,000, which will go towards our winter season of interpreting our field season data that was obtained by Kaesy and Linda.
Oh, fantastic. So I think we've arranged to speak with Kaesy and Linda later. So we're going to catch up with them and find out what's been going on in the field. But when you say, what else is the money going to be used for? Obviously looking at some of the samples that you've picked up during the summer is great. But what else are you doing in terms of driving that share price? Because I know that's, since we last spoke, you're at 5 cents, you're now up to 9 cents. So things are moving in the right direction. But, what are you continuing to do on that front?
Absolutely. In this bull run that we're seeing for gold and an expected continued run for the price of gold, having two major properties in a safe jurisdiction in British Columbia, Canada, one being in the south at the Sheep Creek and one being in the north at the Kaesy property, which have both been identified by Dr. Murray Allen's report through BC Geoscience as comparables to Barkerville from a geological plumbing perspective. Most recently, we focused our field season up at the Kaesy property, which is 60,000 hectares of land. Yeah. We inherited a substantial amount of data, and our field crews went through the data. They went out to the field, and not only did they look at the work that was done previously, they expanded the thinking of lower grade bulk tonnage type deposits within the past high grade veins. And so Linda and Kaesy will speak directly to that, and the excitement from our geos is second to none.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that conversation because, we spoke with Steve Letwin a couple of months ago. He was really excited about what you've got. Steve Letwin of IM Gold. He's really excited about what's going on here. I think he compared you guys to, early stage Osisko. So, that's kind of high praise indeed, which is, again, why we're following this story. Can I just sort of ask about market conditions? Obviously, last couple of months, gold has moved. So finally, it's gone. I think that's clearly going to have an impact for gold producers. Has it done much for you guys as sort of junior explorers?
Some of the sentiment that has come out of Beaver Creek recently is that the momentum that we've seen for the run-up of the majors hasn't quite hit the junior sector yet. And so we are in a right position with the announcement of our resource to get consumed by that vacuum that's going to be coming down the pipe as the communication of the successes in the gold space contribute in the mainstream media. And with majors calling for 2,000 gold and beyond, there's going to be that vacuum that we're going to get sucked up into.
Yeah, I guess you've kind of got to work out where you fit in the cycle. Are you going to hit this gold cycle, or are you preparing yourself for the next gold cycle? And I guess your data analysis will tell you that. There was one project which I was really excited about when we spoke last, which was this tailings project, right? So you had something like 600,000 tons of tailings, and I think previous data suggested it was, circa a gram or just over a gram. Have you managed to move that forward any, or has that not been a focus for you?
For the field season this year, that wasn't a primary focus. We continue to evaluate that as a near-term cash flow opportunity, and that's going to be part of our winter work from a permitting perspective to evaluate that launch in the next couple of years.
Right, so next couple of years. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting strategy if you think about the amount of money that's sitting there on the surface ready to go. And what are the things you need to look at to make that decision? I mean, I appreciate you've got to fit it in around available money that you've got today to be able to do that, finding strategic partners to be able to maybe do that and working out what the plan is. But it just seems to be a lot of money to be left on the ground.
Absolutely, but relative to proving up 43101 compliant resource of 1 million ounces, which definitely migrates us into a new category, that was our primary focus. And there is further associated low-hanging fruit around that will position us for a bigger picture opportunity as we see this rising gold price. We continue to work on that initiative, and the focus there is looking at the recoverability of that historically processed material.
Right. So when do we expect to hear some news about how you're going to move that forward?
Over this winter.
Over this winter. Season. Awesome. Okay. And then I guess with 60,000 hectares to go and explore this, there is this need to maybe do a second, I know you're doing a financing now, but you are going to have to go back out to market at some point, presumably next year at some point after the winter analysis. Have you any sort of sense of how much money you think you're going to need to raise for that, or is that
We haven't finalized the budget for next season because we've gotten so many new opportunities and targets that have been identified from this field season.
Yeah.
And so as we get the assays back from the chip sampling, soil samples, other field work that's been conducted, then we can articulate the drill program for next season.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I managed to catch Linda briefly on a call. She seems very, very excited about what's going on up there. Discoveries every day. Tyler, thanks very much for that update. Do stay in touch with us. We're kind of keen to see how this goes. You're one of the smaller companies that we look at, but very, very exciting story. And like I say, you're delivering for shareholders. You've got to keep doing that, and I'd like to sort of understand how you're going to keep doing that by keeping us up to date. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely, Matthew. And just a few parting words here. Having a 1 million ounce resource in a bull market, having strong supporters such as Steve Letwin, who will be participating in this financing, and having a resource up north at the Kaesy property that has so much infrastructure. One of the new discoveries is 30 meters from our camp, which means it's 30 meters off of Highway 37. Our field crews literally walk to that location from our office. And the opportunity is so great. And I look forward to your conversation with Linda and Kaesy, because they'll give you a geological firsthand.
Bottom line, I would say outstanding potential, huge upside potential. The thing that sticks with me most is the size and the strength of the gold system there. Literally 15 kilometers. Over one mountain range, through the valley, up another mountain range, and you're still in the same mineralizing system. Not that it's mineralized absolutely everywhere in that 15 kilometers, but you can see that you're still part of that same system.
We're not just looking at the gold veins. That's a nice little upgrade, but we want to see a big system. It's going to have lower grades, but it's going to be more exciting because it's bigger and it's shallow, and it's got these exciting quartz veins that have gold in them all through, but that's an upgrade. That's a sweetener.
There's a really good system there, and they have a ton of data that's in pretty good shape. There's a bit of work to kind of organize it all.
There's been a lot of operators. They've been taking a different approach. They had a different focus. They did some great work. But to have one company holding the entire property, as Margaux does, really opens things up to look at a regional scale and say, okay, we've got these high-grade veins. We've got these smaller targets, these sort of tight, confined things. But how does the system as a whole fit in? Because you're looking at such a large area. You're talking about 15 or 16 kilometers. Much of the area has not been examined for bulk tonnage targets. And I think this is a huge opportunity, and when I started looking at the data, I thought this is something I'd like to really get into.
There's a lot of value in that data. The tourist area is in the valley, not a lot of outcrop. So back in the mid-90s, they did IP. 25 years have passed since that work was done. It was really good quality data, but the processing techniques have changed. So we just took 3 lines of data right over the tourist zone, and we had that digitized and reprocessed. And within those 3 lines, we can see new targets that look just like the tourist signature that don't have a drill hole in them. So that's what the old data does for us. It's just generating new places for us to look.
What you see in the resource model or in the mine maps or in the surface outcrops, it's all the same story. It's a high-grade vein, and it's got alteration that's very visible, very, we'll say, standardized almost across all these properties. So previously differently held properties. It's easy to recognize the alteration, it's easy to follow it, and it's easy to pick up pieces that are high grade. Of course, those are the ones we get excited about. I know we talked about visible gold before. That's a wonderful thing to see, but in terms of a bulk tonnage model, you really have to incorporate those, the margins of the veins. And in a lot of cases, historically, those areas weren't even sampled because it's not the focus. It wasn't the mandate at the time.
It's a huge system, so there's a lot still that hasn't been explored. So on top of the existing resources that are hopefully easy to exploit, there's a lot of potential for new stuff in the area.
One of the really interesting targets is called Wings Canyon. You know, I'm not exaggerating. It's about 500 meters from the east side of the tourist deposit. You walk across to this zone. You don't cross a single outcrop. There's not a drill hole in that 500 meter zone. You get to the edge of this canyon, and as far as you can see, east, west, up, down, in all directions is alteration and veining. And there is no drilling between that and the tourist zone. So I think the potential for expansion, for new areas, for new discoveries is really very, very good.
This is a really great opportunity. The access on the property is really good. There are a lot of historic roads.
All the trails, you can get to everything by truck, so you don't have to use a helicopter or anything expensive to mobilize drills, or once you get to extraction, build any roads or anything.
It's not like you're clinging to the side of a mountain slope or anything like that. You can move things in, you can get your fuel cheaply, you can get your personnel to site, you can get your samples in and out and your equipment moved in, and that's exciting as far as controlling costs and also being able to test more targets.
The Table Mountain, half of the project, they never even looked at the bulk tonnage possibilities. All they were doing was following high-grade veins. So there's 2,000 drill holes on Table Mountain. We've got all the logs, we've got all the data in a database. Mostly they didn't sample what looked like low grade, and we've got that drill core. Very cheaply, we can assess some of these areas. We don't have to drill a new hole. We just have to go to a hole that's already been drilled and sampled. Everything holds together really well, both geologically and in terms of the database. It's a really well compiled project that just, we're excited to take it. I'm excited. We're all excited to take it to the next level.
Thanks very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, please click the button in the corner of the screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also catch us on our website, cruxinvestor.com, and Cruxcast, our podcast series. Plus, most days you can catch us on LinkedIn and Twitter. We'd love getting your feedback, so please keep that coming, and we'll speak to you again soon.